Welcome back to another episode here of reclaiming this old farm field. We're working on field 44 here. You can see, well, you can't quite see it on the map because the map is so big, but there you kind of see it on that map. This long stretch of field here, we've been cutting trees on it, and we're going to clear every tree off of it and turn it back into a field for farming. Not that I'm going to do any farming, but it'll be ready for it. I've been using the harvester here, cutting trees. Last episode, we stacked up all these logs here, got it all cleaned up. I was trying to decide how I was going to handle this, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run through with a harvester and kind of build a road all the way to the other side of this field here and just kind of cut the trees down. And as I go, I'm going to clean them up with a forwarder. And I'm going to keep stacking them here and see how big of a stack we can get before the game really bugs out. But just in the just trying to keep it interesting here. I don't want to go for an hour just cutting trees because, believe it or not, it took me an hour of just playing the game to get this area here, all the trees cut and cleaned up, and then stacked up in a pile here. So I think I'm gonna try to cut the trees and keep it interesting and use the most equipment I can in every episode, rather than just do a full episode of just running this harvester here. But with that being said, I'm gonna hop in it, and the past two episodes here I did some time lapses of running the equipment, and I think that is still the way I'm gonna do it, just because it's kind of interesting when you could see that much progress get done. It's more fun to watch. I feel like when you get a lot of progress done. But the one thing I'm not sure on is if I should put music on the live stream on the uh, time lapse or not. See, that's the problem, is I can't, when I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, it's hard for me to keep talking. It's definitely a skill that needs to be learned. But anyway, I just not sure if I should do music or not. I think for me, I don't mind just listening to the machine run. So for now, that's what we're gonna do. You're just gonna hear the machine running, no music. If people think that there should be music, you can comment and let me know. But uh, we're gonna get started here. Okay. That was about 10-ish so minutes of cutting for me, so I'm gonna which we got quite a bit cut up here. I don't know that let's see how close we made it to the spot on the other side here. Somewhat close. I bet you another 10 minutes and we could be to this this opening on this side that we got through. But I'm kind of only going down half of the field here, and then we'll get it cleaned up and then come back and run down and get these trees here. Oh, look, I actually missed one right here on the edge. Just something else to work around, but we'll cut that down when we come back through. Now, I know eventually, once we get enough logs stacked up there, the game isn't going to be able to keep up with that many logs on the ground, and I'll start having frame rate problems. Right now, we're looking pretty good still, but we'll see. You could see there's a couple times there using the processor. I should say, yeah, a couple times that I close the roller heads. Now, with a modded harvester, you can run it two ways. You can either do it manually, and if you're doing it manually, you have to close the roller heads. But if you're doing it like how I was doing it, you're just cutting to a predetermined length. And you can see, let's see, once the keyboard controls pop up here. Oh no, I'm not in harvester, so it's not going to show me. It'll tell you you can pick your meter length for your logs. Well, when you're doing that, when you're cutting to the specific meter length, I'm not moving the forwarder just so that I can concentrate on talking. When you're cutting it to predetermined meter lengths and you go to cut a tree, the game has a feature which the base game machines use, and it automatically just holds the tree in the processor head, and you don't actually have to run the grapples at all. I use the grapple to grab onto the tree just to make it easy to use a cut function. But once you have it running in the metering out the length cutting, I don't know how else to describe the mode, but once you have it running in that, you don't really have to worry about it falling out or closing the roller heads. It kind of just feeds the tree through on its own. But there is an option to run the roller heads manually, and I did it one time there, and that's why they're not closing. That's one thing I either gotta bind my controls different so the grapple controls the roller heads and the knives, or just deal with it being a little bit odd, unrealistic. If I can think of anything else to talk about here, I might pause the time lapse where I'm running the forwarder here, but we're gonna get some of these logs here cleaned up and see how much bigger we can make that pile. One thing I'm gonna try to do here also is I didn't know if I could. I've seen people do it before in the game where they stand the logs up on end here to straighten them out. I don't think I can do it though. I don't know what the proper technique is. Oh, maybe I can. Part of the problem is the logs are they just slip right across the ground, like you can't butt it up against something. But I'm wondering if I can butt it up against the side of the machine to get it stood up here. Works somewhat, but there's one log there that's not. There we go. And that's falling out of the grapple now. That somewhat worked, but look at that. It didn't stay. We tried. I'm going to go back to kind of doing things haphazard the way I've been doing it. Just beating it against the headboard of the machine, which I believe is a real way to do it, but it's obviously not good for your headboard in real life. You'd have it all dented up after the first few days of doing it. Dang it. I don't want the tops just because they're a pain to deal with. They'll all get mulched up. Okay, back to time lapse unless I come up with something else to talk about. Okay, I just wanted to stop here for a second for a couple reasons. One, to take a look at how many logs I got on this forwarder here. Quite a few. Rounded up pretty good. Looks like I probably could have stuck a few more on there. It's kind of tough to tell when you're in the cab view. But the other thing is, let's see if we can get some footage of it. You can kind of see, like when I'm spinning the logs, they kind of just look a little bit jittery almost. Like it's not quite smooth. I don't know if you can see it when the game's in time-lapse mode, or the game's not in time-lapse mode, but when I speed the video up, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's something that I can see here, and at least for this video, I'm not going to worry too much about it. It bothers me a little bit, but I know that it would bother me a lot more if I was watching somebody play. It would bug me when I'm playing. I'm focused on what I'm doing. I'm not so much focused on the graphical problems of the game. But at least for this episode, that's what's going to happen. We'll see. Maybe if it's a problem, I'm just going to have to not have such a big log pile here on the landing. I just want to see, though, how big of a pile I can get. Because generally, I think when people are logging in real life, you don't just get a couple logs out and then a log truck will come. A log truck will come when it's available. So we're just going to keep stacking the logs here, and especially where we're a one-man operation here, we'll get it all stacked up and then switch over to loading out, and we'll sell a bunch of logs here at the end. I grabbed too many logs there. That's why these ones fell out. They shouldn't have even come out of the truck. I could see them right on the bottom of the grapple. They were just hanging on by imaginary glue, I guess. I don't know. They were just kind of floating on the bottom of the other logs that I had picked up. Okay. See what's happening here? The logs are just... they've become a mine. They get mines of their own. They're kind of just snaking out. I think that is because I have too many logs stacked up here in one area. They're just kind of bouncing off of each other. They're not actually finding a resting place. And I'm trying to think of something that it's like, but to compare it to, but essentially these logs, they just they're never resting, and they're constantly just bouncing off of each other. That's why they slid out like this. And the game will do that constantly. Move away from that machine so it's not so loud. The game will do that constantly, and it's especially bad if you're not on flat ground. And we're not on perfectly flat ground here. I think we're on flat enough ground, but maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. The ground ever so slightly slopes this direction, and that's why these logs slid down this direction. It's a little bit frustrating, but I guess this is about as many logs as we can get. I'm going to still keep stacking the logs up here just to see what happens, but we might just be creating a mess. Look at them. They're just moving around. It's like a pile of snakes. Maybe I can't unload anymore. Sometimes if you just move away with some logs, it'll solve itself. I was hoping to get a good thumbnail though of this pile of logs. Biggest pile of logs ever. Be a good clickbait title. Yeah, look at the whole pile is shifted. And I believe it's literally because we've cut down too many trees in this area. So I guess I'm gonna go get the log truck and start loading them up so that we can not have the pile we try to make neat turn into a mess. It only makes it harder for loading. Okay. We're gonna get the Tiger Cat over here, put the grapple on it, and start loading up these logs here. Now, I already made a video of the reasons why I only use mods. I wish the game was just a little bit better. There's a new game coming out. I believe it's called Roadcraft or something. It looks like it's made by the same people who make Mud Runner or Spin Tires. And those games seem to have pretty good physics as far as mud goes. I wonder if they'll be any good with trees, because in the new game it looks like there's forwarders and harvesters. They're not very good looking as far as realism goes. They look like Matchbox or Hot Wheels toys compared to these ones. Like they're not really good at all. But if the game plays better, it just is a proven point that they could the Giants can make an effort to make this game better. I don't know what the reason is for not trying to make this game better, but feel like it kind of sucks. Oops. We're dropping that right on the other log there. Yeah, see the logs are really jittering in the grapple there. You can see it's not a frame rate issue because I'm getting 75 frames per second right now. That one just kind of whizzed out the back of the trailer for no reason. Yep, I'm gonna get these loaded here, and we'll go sell them, and we'll probably have to load out all the logs we have here and start from scratch. I don't know that we'll have time for that in this episode. I hate when I do stuff like that. I don't know if we'll have time for that in this episode, but we're gonna try, do what we can, and pick up where we left off next time. I'm gonna call that good for that load here. I'm afraid that if I keep stacking, they're just gonna go everywhere. It looks like they're already starting to slide out the back, although that could be from me loading. It's definitely the logs moving around is definitely not helping. Now, I was going to bring these back to the same place as before, but I just figured I'd look, and it looks like this place over here is actually closer as far as almost drove away with the logs unstrapped. Yeah, I drove right past this last time. Where is the unload zone? Right here, apparently. Nice. 43,000. Now, I don't know if you noticed before, but before I hauled that load of logs away, everything in this pile here, you could see all these logs were wiggling around. And now they're still as can be. And I think that's just a limitation of the game. It doesn't matter how good of a computer you have. The game just can't handle that many items, entities, physics points, whatever you want to call it. The game just can't handle it, unfortunately. I was thinking about loading up another one here, but I'm not going to overdo it for this episode. We'll save it for the next time. I was just thinking maybe I'll take some of this money we have after selling this load, or selling off all these logs, and plus the four-wooder. We still got to clean up all these logs here. Maybe I'll take the money and I can go buy a skidder, and I'll switch over to running I'll run a fella buncher. I'll put the fella buncher head on this, and I'll run the skidder and drag the logs out here and sell, get a different trailer, sell them full length logs. I was thinking about getting a different trailer anyway, because this trailer here, I liked it because it's got 4 stakes on each side for the size logs I'm using. So you have a 6-meter log will go from here to here. And assuming you can grab the log in the center every time, it gives you plenty of room in case you're off on either side, like if the logs stick out or whatever. What seems to be happening to me, though, is I will grab them somewhat close to the center, but because the grapple is so wide, I don't get them perfectly in the center. And what happens is the grapple ends up getting caught on the stakes here, and you could see it every single time I went to drop a load in. I was struggling with that, so I think maybe I'll get a different log trailer here also, and at least try that out. But if there's anything specific that anybody wants to see, if they've made it this far, any specific equipment that I should be using, let me know. But I'm just using what I find fun, and just playing the game because I have fun doing it. So I've said it before, but hopefully that was entertaining, and thanks for watching.